Okay, for the Intro to C class, here is your second programming assignment. What we're going to be working with here are control structures and reading input from the user. So what you will do is prompt the user initially to enter a shape. We're going to deal with triangles, squares, rectangles, and circles. If the user enters a T, that will be for a triangle. You're going to prompt the user and say enter the base and enter the height. We're going to read two values from the user and then find the area of the triangle. If the user enters an S, that would be for a square. You're going to prompt the user to say enter the side of the square. We only need one variable for a square because the length and width are the same. So we're just going to have them enter the side, and then you're going to tell them what the area of the square is. If they enter an R for a rectangle, you need to prompt them to enter the height and the width of the rectangle and then find the area. And for a circle, you will have to prompt them just to enter the radius of the circle, which defines the circle, and then you will print out what the area is. Depending on the shape that the user types in, whether it's a triangle, square, rectangle, or circle, it's important that you only prompt them for the information that you need for that shape. That means if the user has typed in T for triangle, I do not want you to prompt them to enter the radius. I don't want you to prompt them to enter the width. What I want you to do is prompt them only to enter the base and the height. If they enter S for square, you only need to prompt them to enter side. If they enter R for rectangle, only the height and the width. And if they enter C for circle, only the radius. The formulas for all of these shapes, if you don't know how to find the area of each of these shapes: triangle, 1/2 base times the height. A square is just the side squared. The rectangle is width times height. And the circle is pi times the radius squared. You can look those up also if you don't know them already. And so you're going to have to use if statements for this. The way that you're going to use an if statement is you're going to prompt them to enter a shape. Depending on what character they enter, you are going to say, if the character you entered was T, then I'm going to prompt them inside the body of that if statement to enter the base and the height of the triangle, and then print out what the area of the triangle is. And that will end the body of that if statement. Then you will have an else if, most likely. Say else if the character that they entered was S. And if it was, then inside the body of that section, you're going to say enter the side of the square. You're going to read that into a variable, and then you're going to print out what the area of a square is after you calculate it, and so on. Make sure that you also take into account the last condition, which is if the user does not enter a T, S, R, or C. So you're going to need one final else statement, which I didn't show in this assignment, to specify what happens if they didn't enter one of the four characters, specifying one of the shapes that we are finding the area of. So just prompt them, output something that says, hey, that wasn't T, S, R, or C. Please run my program again with one of those inputs. All right? Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.